chiming and carrying on. All right, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Night with the Beard. Uh yeah, so I guess people already talk about the thumbnail, so I guess it's different than most of the ones I've done.
I didn't
Uh
see it.
what?
Oh, there it is. Oh,
So I'm trying to do a lot of things different this year. And so, it's come across a little bit because people have noticed that the Wednesday show is it's gotten a little bit of different content, but it's still, the Wednesday show is still reselling, still, you got any questions, you got any issues, we will help you talk you through them. We'll answer any questions. We'll talk about reselling topics. But, Sunday I was looking for, something different. What can the Sunday live show be that I didn't want it to be like any other reselling show. And so I was thinking, I'm probably going to make this an hour show, and I'm probably going to put it on a podcast. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Probably just a reseller report. It'll be twice a week, one tonight and one Wednesdays. But the one is going to be much more focused on personal development. That'll be Sunday nights tonight. Be the first one. As I try to understand more about reselling and what the difference is, what are the difference between the good years, the bad years, it's a lot of your mental focus. What headspace are you in? And so how do you develop that kind of stuff? It's really started listening to podcasts a lot. And then at first it started off as, some political guys I like. And, my favorite is probably Matt Walsh. I relate to him pretty well. And then I picked up on a guy. Now I know y'all have heard me mention him, Rob Dial. Rob Dial does a really nice podcast, probably 3 days a week, and really, really connect with him. Really like him. But I challenge you to find someone that motivates you, that puts you in the right. So my idea is to, in the mornings as I get started my day, to listen to a motivational podcast of some sort. Start my day off by, framing my state of mind to begin in a good place to start each day. The one thing I have preached for a long time is you've got to protect your positive attitude, because if you cannot control the negativity, if you allow returns and all that crazy mess and customers and just, having a bad day to run your life, your listings aren't going to be made as well. You're not going to get things completed that you need to get done. You're going to treat the people around you worse. So, it's positive attitude is so very important, but I have found that it goes much farther than that. So I made a list of some of the people that I've been listening to. Probably one of the biggest ones beside Rob Dahl, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is a great job for motivation. That guy will fire you up. I really like Jordan Peterson, but the problem with Jordan Peterson is, man, he builds upon. So if you're working or kind of listening, if you miss a spot, he can leave you behind the concept a little bit. But smart guy. Steve Harvey is extremely funny, but if you listen to his motivational side, man, he will does a nice job. Andrew Tate as well. Andrew Tate's a little on the machismo side, but still there's a lot to but there's somebody out there. I was looking, I did a Google search, which was probably my mistake, on top 15 or top podcasts. And of course, it gave me all these podcasts from the other side of the political aisle. It gave me podcasts from Oprah and all kinds of ladies and stuff. So whoever it is that you relate to that can help get you in the state of mind that you need to be, find that person. I challenge you, because personal change is hard. It's very rewarding, but it is very, very hard. So this morning I was listening to Joe Rogan. So I guess that today's show just be a little bit about the start of that one. All right. So the person about to join us is, one of the things I can tell you is Harlan has done this. How long have you listened to motivational stuff, Harlan? Years?
Mainly after my divorce. That's when I really started listening to it.
So I'd listen to him. Harlan would tell me that he listened to this stuff, and as I started listening to other things, he sent me a couple things to listen to, and it really, I'm telling you right now, some of the guys talk about the more you're around people, you become like them, and I was listening to Rob Dahl right before this started, and it's you attract what you put out, and so I can see the benefits that I'm like, how does Harlan stay so focused? I realize he's a workaholic, but he stays very focused and very at it, and I think a lot of that has to do, Harlan, with the fact that you prepare your mind every day and through the day with motivation and people helping frame to keep you going. So Joe Rogan, the very first thing he says, and he's quoting, I don't know who he's quoting, but this is a famous quote. Most men, and you can say women too, because when this quote was probably said, that it wasn't, women weren't as dominant as the workforce as they are today. Most men and women live lives of quiet desperation. That is very profound. If you think about, I've told you guys over and over when I walked away from these restaurants, I've told the story before. I've told the story before of my mother asking, hey, when I started going to Raleigh to Goodwills to find stuff to sell on eBay when I first started, she's like, hey, I want to go with you on one of these trips. And she did. We spent the day, and we were on the way back when she said, can I tell you something? I've told this story, and I'm like, you've known me since birth. You're allowed to tell me whatever you want to. And she said, I am so glad to have my son back. I'm like, what do you mean? I've been living across the street from you for like 6-7 years. She's like, no, an asshole's been living across the street. She said the pressure and just constant hate of a job, you don't realize, if you're in that kind of situation, what it does to you. And you think you're normal. You think everything is normal, but you treat people different based on the fact that you're miserable. And so, you're just in the world, most people's lives, they are deeply unsatisfying. They work jobs and stuff that are soul killing. And just think about it. They go to a cubicle, can you imagine that you're sitting in a cubicle that you hate, and you've got some job performance where they're going to tell you, we want to tell you about how you're doing a job, and you're sitting there thinking, you're about to judge my performance on something that I absolutely hate and I'm absolutely miserable, and you're going to tell me you want me to do it even better, and I can't stand it. That kind of. And then on the way there and on the way back, you've sit an hour in traffic both ways. I was there. I mean, I didn't have the traffic, but being at a job, I was there.
I had a cubicle job. That's the cubicle jobs really do suck.
And so it's up to you to what do you do about it? What do you absolutely do about it? Do you the one thing he suggests is find a passion project, and whatever that is, you focus on it, you fertilize it, and you plan your escape. Whatever it is, it can be whatever. It could be, you love. I mean, even it can be a job in itself, but you're doing something you love. How many people tell you they absolutely love their jobs? There are those people out there that like someone who's a realtor and who is where'd the mouse go?
Is my camera lagging? Is my voice matching my face here?
Nope.
I don't know.
It's killing me. I'm sitting here.
Your voice and face are off.
And you got that fast internet too, man. What's up?
Let me.
Jacob is like really off.
Is he really?
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna jump out and come back in and see if it'll fix it.
So it's because you somebody like who's there could be people, ladies and guys too, who like like a realtor who loves people and loves the house and loves the interaction. You can see there are jobs out there that people you almost think they were made for it because they love it and are good at it. But the thing he challenges you is find, and for me that was reselling. I've gone to yard sales since I was 2. Or my entire life I can remember going to yard sales, and that is even though I do way more retail arbitrage now, the thrill of the hunt, there's nothing so much so that I am planning to do 5 of the long yard sales this year. So in a couple of weeks I'll go do the Peaches to Beaches in Georgia, the 411s in April. I'm going to do the 301 in North Carolina in June. Going to do the 127. And then I'm trying to figure out how to get to the Nebraska junk job. That one's in, I think it's in September, October. That is, I've got goals of what to do, what I want to do for, I want to learn and get this class really going out. I want to continue to make the videos for my YouTube influencer account. There's things that I want to do, that drive the work part of my business. But don't forget when you're, I don't know if you match up or not.
I'm good now.
Yep.
Dustin, it's the weekend around the 11th of if you're talking about Peaches to Beaches, it's around March 11th, whatever that weekend is, that Friday, Saturday.
Am I any better?
Yeah, you seem as normal as you can be.
You were choppy when you first came in.
Yeah, it was probably just when I was trying to get connected. I think my computer was probably still trying to synchronize up Dropbox or something in the background. So,
but the one thing I'll tell you is truly, I've talked about it before, is as you build, if this business is, and or hobby or whatever you're doing with reselling is where your joy is and something that you have a passion about, don't legislate. Like I say, that don't legislate out the fun. Understand the joy that you get from doing this and maximize the joy, lessen the pain. So what's the pain? Thank God for Jared. I have an accounting degree and I hate to do the accounting. Thank God for Jared.
I can't disagree with that.
The stuff that you absolutely don't do, find a way to outsource that. It's surround yourself with people that think like you, who can challenge you. Do the things in your life and in your business that make it better. Somebody stop me. Somebody stop Carol from talking, from typing. But it's, that passion, it can be whatever. I mean, it can be anything. I just made a list of stuff, antiquing, writing, automobiles, crafting, cooking. There's a ton of people out there who are wonderful cooks and love making the recipes and figuring that stuff out. I watch them on YouTube for my keto, to continue doing my keto because I need something different. And it's amazing, you can see the passion behind what they're doing when they're sharing these things, because they truly want the feedback to know that people enjoy, how they come up with something. Oh yeah, I can't stop you. Did you not look at the thumbnail? I can win. Whether it's painting, photography, pottery, hunting, interior design, dancing, whatever it is, make a plan to monetize it. You want a happy. Don't wait. The one thing, Joe's like, don't wait till you're 53 and I've got kids or mortgages and it's too late to do anything about it. The farther along you get in age, the more responsibility you seem to accumulate.
It's never too
And
late, but it is more difficult.
it is definitely more. It is never too late, but it is definitely more difficult. So I think he made the point. When you're working and trying to fertilizing and working on your passion project, work on it like your life depends on it. Because in the end, it does. I was listening to another one. This might have been Rob Dial the other day. Very interesting podcast. I started not to listen to it because I didn't want to think that way because I'm older, and it was 5 lessons from death. And so it turns out he had read a book about a lady who was a hospice nurse, and she had come up with the 5 things that most people in the regrets of the 5 regrets that a lot of people had, as that she said up to 75-80% of people had it that she talked to in hospice. And a lot of it is along these lines, finding personal happiness, spending more time. It told a story in the book of a man who was working a job, and he was about to retire, and his kids were older, so he and his wife were going to do some traveling, and got time to retire. And he convinced his wife, we'd be a lot more comfortable if I just worked this last year, one more year to add to our savings, and it's going to make retirement and make everything so much better. There was only one problem. The wife who had helped raise his children, and said, reluctantly said, okay, if that's what you believe, that's what we'll do. There's one problem. 9 months into the last year, she passed away. The regret, she spent a lot of time talking about the regret this man had in his life, because he chose to work another year when that could have been 9 more months they could have traveled. They could have been traveling the whole time and doing everything instead of, what's that sales job? What's that one more sales? Steve Stray, I saw some pictures, man. You look really good, buddy.
Agreed.
You have to work and save, like you're going to live for a long time, but you also have to live for the day, because you never know. I mean, me and my brother had been talking about retirement, and especially he'd been talking about the year he could retire from the government, and then he wanted to get in, do his reselling full time, and we had been talking a lot about that.
And talking about his wife, joining him doing it because she could retire from teaching.
Yeah, in about 3 years she could retire, and I mean there was just plans made, and everything was, he just had it all planned out, and he didn't wake up that day. So,
because I remember. So for those of you that didn't know, there's a group of probably 6 or 7 of us, and sometimes Dusty would come, but the resellers, the guys that would eat probably every other week or so, every other Friday night, just find somewhere. And he's got a guy he works with, been friends with Chad for since the early 90s, known Chad for a long time.
mm-hmm.
We still see Chad. He does Van Massey with us and stuff. But, the two of them, very similar and work for the government and in the same places and a lot of the same goals. So, we would talk about the retirement and what you could do and that kind of stuff. And he had it planned out where it was going to be he was going to be young in his early 50s and retire, or mid 50s at the absolute latest, and still have a lot of life left to live. He had no clue that year 44 was the last one. You don't know. You can't. The things you put off, don't sacrifice your personal happiness and the people around you for chasing, especially if you work at a job that you're miserable at. I can't imagine the deep regret that somebody would have. But a society, it traps you in bad situations and convinces you it's your future. Credit card debt, working a terrible job, student loans. You come out of college. You folks realize that, not only is college a bad deal for a lot of people and it's gotten so extremely expensive, but, not they pay your kids are paid to have their minds altered and then come out slaves to the system. Basically what they are. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's very rare that kids come out of school. Jacob is very fortunate that he has minimal loans. Harlan's kids are very fortunate that his job is paid for their college. That is amazing because you have options.
Oh, yeah.
But you've got to see the pitfalls and understand what society is set to do to you. You know, how many people do you know, even your friends in this business, who, except for, you know, bills and other kind of things, would love to do this full time? You know,
And it's possible to do, but it's like I say, you have to. I mean, if you have a job now, especially if you have a family, that makes it more difficult because you come home, you have stuff you got to do. You have, if you're married, you know, you have your wife or husband that you have to, you know, you're talking to, and if you're trying to build something, a reselling business on the side, sometimes it's difficult to get time in once you get home to do that. Now for me, my kids are 27 and 23. I'm single, so I can work my 8 hours and then I can come home and put 3 or 4 hours in at night. And that's usually what happens.
3 or 4? Even 5 or 6?
Yeah, maybe.
He's only counting the concentrated real work, not counting the time he does all the other things.
True that.
But
it takes me about 6 hours to do 3 hours worth of work, so you know I can relate.
You know, Ron and Carol are two great examples in the chat. So for those you don't know, I've met Carol a couple times in real life, so that's probably the reason she gives me even harder time than most people. But I've had the in-depth conversations with her. She's lost a husband at a young age. This is devastating things to think about, things that you could have done, should have done, didn't. Don't put yourself that way. I have a wife who struggles with health problems, and she's worried right now with some pain she's having, and very fearful that there's a chance that something could come back, even though the doctor has pretty much assured her that there isn't. You know, Ron's had 2 transplants. Joni's had 17 or 18 surgeries since we've been together. Think about that. Beat triple negative stage 3 breast cancer. For those who don't follow breast cancer, triple negative is the wild card. Triple negative is the one that's not hormonal, uncontrolled, just shows up. There's a reason why she elected the double mastectomy, because she wanted to eliminate any chance of that crazy that's coming back, because it has no rhyme or reason. So, you know, find a way to put yourself in the right frame of mind for motivation. Find people, you know. I'm glad Jacob and Harlan are both on here tonight, because those are the 2 folks I talk the most about this kind of stuff. I have not listened to that, Jacob, but I think I'm cheating right now because I started listening to a longer momentum by Rob Dial.
Okay.
And he said everything he's talking about is derived from The Secret.
Nice.
About he started off by talking about the law of attraction and that kind of. So I think I'm actually cheating. I turned that off, and I'm gonna in the morning on the way to Van Massey. I'll start that tomorrow, and first thing in the morning.
There you
go. Yes, Carol, 18 surgeries. And the lovely treatment for cancer gave her cataracts, which will both have to be dealt with at some point in the next couple of years, and chronic kidney disease. So she went to get a CT scan the other day of where the pain is behind her implant, and they couldn't do it because her creatinine, I think I'm saying that right, was too high. It means she's probably dehydrated. They gave her fluids instead because her kidneys were it's supposed to be a 1.4 or less, or 1.2 or less, and so they are now. She's got 17 or 18 doctors, folks. I can't keep up. She's like, well, I told you I'm going here. I'm like, I know names. I don't know what these people do. I don't know how you keep up with what they do. Creatine. Okay, that's it. I got you. So this is a lot of what I want Sunday nights to be. I really like the chat. That, if you guys will follow along, I'd like to hear some things that your thoughts on a lot of these things. It's because I could make Sunday nights continue to do reselling and talk about which printer and all that kind of craziness. But where do you find information that truly motivates you? Where do you find information that gets you in the right mental state? Because anybody can go out there and scan. Anybody can look up anything on an eBay app. Anybody can figure out, with sheer effort and determination to do things. But, how do you notice how many people start and quit this because it is hard? Even though they'll tell you how much they love it, but they find they're how many of them eBay did everybody's heard it. eBay stabbed me in the back. I'm quitting because of a return or quitting. I mean, because they are not mentally strong enough to force their way through it. And they don't have someone who is in their camp, someone who they've surrounded themselves with to talk them off the ledge. Hey, this is just, you sold 100 things and you've had a problem with one. Why are you focused on the one? 99 of them were awesome. Why are we focusing on the one? You know what I mean? It's
human nature to focus on the negative, and it sucks. I mean, I struggle with it too, a lot.
But so that's why I tell you that it might work for you too, Steve, is start your day off by listening and focusing on something. I need to be more scheduled and regimented. I think that'll help me out. And so I'm going to try to plan out my day.
You ever see that military guy, and his thing is, when you start off your day, you make your bed. That's the first thing you do every morning.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's because that gives you a task that you've already completed. You've already met one goal. So I do that every morning. I make the bed every morning. So and I don't really know what's all behind that, but to me, that's a motivating thing. I do this every morning. It's a task. I've got it done. Now on to the next.
Tamara, you have to ask her. I don't have any idea what she's on.
One of the books that I very much enjoyed was a book by Daniel Pink called When, W-H-E-N, written by Daniel Pink. It's fantastic book, and it talks about why it matters when you do something or when something occurs.
So reading a book, that's very interesting. That I was listening to someone today who was talking about reading a book. Do you know the statistics? Once you graduate high school, if you don't go on to college, how many people who with this high school education don't read a book for the rest of their lives after high school?
I'd say it's, if you don't count owner's manuals, I'd say it's high.
41-ish, 42% is the number he was using. Okay, so if you're a college graduate, man, you're a genius. You're smart. How many of these people who have spent another 4 to 6 years, 7 years, improving themselves supposedly through college, how many of them after college read a book for the rest of their lives?
So a friend of mine pays his kid.
48% is the number, before I forget. Don't college educated. So there you go, 48.
A friend of mine pays his kid, who's I think 10 or 11 years old, pays him $20 per book to read books. Now they're books that he tells him which books to read, but he gets $20 for every book that he reads, and he has to answer like 10 questions. Of course, his dad or his mom has read the book, and so they know what questions to ask. and or they probably cheat with ChatGPT, but
I was just gonna say.
but in general, they're telling to read a book, and he does enjoy reading, but he gets $20 for each book that he reads.
So Amazon 799, that's 48% of college graduates do not read a book for the rest of their lives, another book for the rest of their lives.
Wow.
48%.
I would imagine they probably are counting audiobooks the same as regular books for the purpose of the survey, I would imagine.
I'm not a book reader, so I'm in that percentage. I didn't graduate college, so.
How many of these people are adopted into the system? They are now working their 40 to 50 hours a week. They are getting married. They're having kids. They are accumulating responsibility and debt. I've been there. How many people, when they get home from what they're supposed to do, if you sit down, you fall asleep because you're so tired from working the 9 to 5. God forbid it's not 9 to 5. My fast food restaurant manager, you're 50 hours a week. That's your base. That's your base hours.
That's your minimum.
If you're the GM, it's 65 to 70 every week. That takes a toll.
Mm-hmm.
And heaven forbid you do like I do and play district manager for quite a while. It just exponentially gets worse.
Yeah, we talked one time about having a lot of stuff on your plate and actually making a list of things to accomplish for the day,
Right.
And actually making that the night before you go to bed.
Correct.
An idea of what you're going to do when you get up, what you're going to start with, what you're going to get done. Like today, I had a list of a bunch of stuff. I've got my yearly inspection here at the house, and I put in about 10 or 11 hours today working around here in the house, cleaning, moving stuff, getting organized, cleaning the garage, stuff like that. Stuff that needed to be done anyways. It's probably a good thing it was time to do that. So
I went through boxes in my garage today that had stuff in it that expired in 2016.
I bet that meat stunk. Golly.
Yeah, it was awesome. Amazon 799, I'm probably going to sign up for Audible. I'm not the greatest about sitting down to read because with sleep apnea and these other things, but for a podcast or listening to something, I'm awesome out here working. So Audible, 2 books for $15. That's less than the price of one for the most part. So
if you can't afford the $15 or whatever it is for Audible, check out your local library. Almost every single one of them has free audiobooks that you can rent for free from your local library. And they usually use an app, either Libby, Libby, or one other one. I forget what the other one is, but you rent the books or borrow the books from the library, the digital ones, the audiobooks, either PDF or audio, the same as you would a paperback book from the library. And you have to get in line, and they only have a limited number of copies. But if the $15 is something that you don't want to spend, or it's prohibitive for the cost.
My wife does the library thing, and she gets just about any book she wants that way.
Yep. I have to wait. I use the.
There's sometimes a wait, yeah.
Oh yeah, some of the more popular books you have to wait sometimes a couple of months.
She's also if you're into reading, join a book club. My wife and her family do a book club once a month, and it gets the whole family together. Or you could, you might have a group of friends, get out and do something. We've talked about that today. My wife and I were out today, and we just talked about that. We don't get out. We sit home and list on eBay all day. We do go to thrift stores and stuff, but it gets old staying here, not doing much.
So Larry says, learn to create a habit and make good habits. Consistency is the key in life. Understand that's usually on most people, average of 21 days to start to make a habit. 21 days in a row doing something. I feel pretty solid. I've started and stopped keto a long time, but if I get past the 3 weeks, I get pretty solid. So I've lost another couple pounds. I went down to 315 now. Goal is 190. So consistently heading through. Johnny's been absolutely wonderful about cooking. burgers for tonight. I don't need sides or anything. I'm fine with just 2 hamburgers. Very very little carbs. I handle breakfast and lunch, and she helps me out with dinner. It's very important if you have a significant other in life. If you get them involved in things that I couldn't, if it was dependent on me every day to make both of them, I'd never make it. I promise you. But it's there's so much. So my real plans moving forward for Sunday nights are, as I listen to things through the week, I'm gonna take notes. It'll probably be on the little yellow sticky notes, but Sunday mornings I'll sit down and just go over what I've learned for the week. I find that if I talk about it again, it kind of reinforces a second time through. And if you find a podcast you like, even an episode, there's no listen to it 3 or 4 or 5 times. You'll be amazed if it hits with you one time, what you will learn a second, third, and fourth time through. Especially if it's something that you start applying, you'll be amazed. Why did I not hear that the first time?
Mm-hmm.
It'll reinforce a habit even stronger.
A bunch of these motivational videos I listen to, some of them are really good. You listen to them over and over. You just put them on while you're working, while you're listening. You hear different stuff every time. It's like, okay, or you hear it differently, and it's like, okay, that one really hit home today. So,
yeah. So Harlan sent me one of Joe Rogan the other day, and I was listening to it. I called him back, and later on I'm like, I never thought of it. He said, Joe Rogan talked about you need to be the hero of your own story, and he was talking about, your life is you need to treat it as a movie that you are the hero in the movie, and he said, don't worry about where you are now. Your past does not define you. Every movie starts off with the hero in a mess. Nothing's perfect. They don't know it, and then the hero saves the day. You save your life. You whatever problems you're having, you figure out a way to write the story so that you're the winner. It was. I never thought of it like that. That's an amazing thought. To see it that way and to understand everybody struggles, everybody has difficulties. It doesn't matter where you are, the amount of money, amount of whatever. We all have relationships. We all have finite time. Good and bad things happen to everyone, no matter your walk in life. And so, it's how you deal with them, how you overcome, what makes you stronger every single day. What gets you out of bed? What keeps you going? But that was, that's just from talking. You have that kind of insight, and that's just from Harlan being insightful enough to say, "Hey, I got something out of this. Watch this one."
mm-hmm.
My brother has been struggling a little bit, he's like, I need to be motivated. I'm like, well, hell, I sent it to him. I'm like, listen to this and understand the way he talks about taking control of your situation. So you can have the same effect on others. You have that power. Dustin, you have to get the negative out of your life. Making a decision to walk away from negative people, it's hard, but you don't understand the effect that it has on you and the negativity it brings down on you.
It will eat you alive.
Over time, it'll slowly bring you down. It's that slow fade.
I'll put a link in the chat. That one's about 2 hours long, so if you want to listen to something while you're working, that's a good one too. You'll save it for later.
Looking for a song. Hold on. So one of my favorite Christian artists is Casting Crowns. We've seen them a couple times now. One of their more impactful songs for me is a song called "Slow Fade." You know, it talks about your relationship with the Lord and how for the most part it's a very slow fade. It's just, but it's like that with everything in life. If you don't actively seek to improve and take care of things, time becomes an enemy because you change over time, no matter who you are, and it's how do you change? Do you
You're either
change
going up or you're
or
going
down?
down.
Absolutely. Next step is getting off you.
There's a lot of negativity on YouTube, and I get that. I've been watching a lot. I've been doing the DoorDash stuff lately, so I've been watching a lot of videos on that. And you wouldn't believe the negativity over there. DoorDash this, DoorDash this. Same with eBay. eBay this, eBay that. You got to stop watching those people. Just get out of those groups. Get off of YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
You can watch YouTube. There's nothing wrong with watching YouTube. It's just the type of YouTube you're watching. Don't watch the guys who are going to tell you that it's not possible.
I'm a perfect example. I sit here today. I feel different. I spent the last up until 4 or 5 months ago when I decided that I was done with politics. It made me angry a lot. Just being exposed to that kind of stuff and to be out of seeing the negativity. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you are. It's designed to keep you fighting with other people, and no matter what good happens with politics, it's always a negative. There's always an enemy. There's always the next one. It's consuming. And I feel such a relief walking away from all that. I keep up with normal stuff. None of the craziness. I had to wash my hands of it. Don't allow that negativity into your life. Just don't. It absolutely changes who you are, and changes how you interact with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tom had a health scare. He learned very quickly a couple weeks ago that there could have been no time left.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite kinds of videos to watch are car crash videos. I watch them every day, and it makes me a much more. I don't drive nearly as bad as I used to. I pay a lot more attention just from watching these things. But it's amazing through no fault of your own. You could lose a friend, yourself, a friend, a family member, with an automobile accident in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a big city like this. There are fatal accidents about every day. Nobody wakes up that morning thinking, today's my last day because I'm going to be in a fatal car crash.
Right.
Because somebody's going to run a red light and hit me right straight on the side, and you won't survive it. Yeah, John, the negative things do happen very frequently, but it's what people remember. It takes a lot of mental strength and mental training to get yourself to a point where that's one of the reasons why I've got a whole box of stuff there. I'm going to make another return video here shortly. That's why I make fun of them. I have no idea what they are. I don't even look at them. It is something that's out of my control. It's a part of the business. It's 1% to 2% most. If you sell clothing, maybe it's a little more. Brenda, you're 100% correct. It is full of negative. You don't. And if that's what you focus on, it's lost two best friends in the same wreck a couple of years ago. I watched an interview. I think I told this on Wednesday of a guy I don't know who I was telling it to. A guy who there was a freak sandstorm on the interstate and a 22-car pileup, and he got a call from a number he didn't know, and they were telling him that only 2 people or 1 or 2 people survived in all those, and quite a few cars. and he lives with the guilt of thinking that both kids and wife were in it with his brother, that he would miss his brother the least. Please let his wife or child live. Turns out none of them lived. They were calling to let him know that he lost his brother, his wife, and 2 children in that freak. And it's very to listen to the grief that man had, and it was very difficult. So you just do not know.
I used to work with a guy. He was probably mid-20s, and he was on a family vacation, and he was driving. His mom and dad and brother and sister were all asleep. He was driving, and he fell asleep. He was the only one that made it. And he said, I have to live with that every single day. I couldn't imagine doing that.
No, I cannot imagine. So that's my challenge. I'm probably going to cut this. So if you like podcasts, I'm going to limit this one to an hour. I'm probably going to rip it down and make this a podcast. Just something, hopefully you can listen to and think and chew on, and really want to figure out, how do you may not want to improve yourself, but I have a feeling that, the people that are in the chat, 86 of you, if you're tuning in to a reselling show, you're trying to improve what you're doing. You're trying to, whether you're full-time, part-time, whatever your situation is, because you don't seek out knowledge and that kind of stuff without being the kind of person that. And so the thing that, I've introduced a lot of people to reselling with the big video. I'm very thankful for it. But I feel as I continue to evolve and grow and change, that how do I continue to help people? The big video is 4 years old now. I could tell you whatever I found sourcing the other day, but just telling you a product doesn't help you in the long run. Teaching you how to go find it, that's much more valuable. Teaching you how to guard your mindset and keep you focused and motivated and positive, that's much harder. Look at the thousands of people who are paid. A couple of weeks ago, I was listening to quite a bit of Tony Robbins. People that have. You want to find a motivational story. Look at the story of Tony Robbins and the childhood that he came from and the difficulty in his life, and see the reason why he focuses on helping so many people. I mean, how many of you know how many people this man feeds every year? And he has a goal to feed 1 billion people.
Mm-hmm.
You think about, it couldn't be as bad as my life. His story couldn't be as bad as mine. My childhood is ugly. His is probably worse, just as bad. I would count his worst. And in spite of it, look who he is. I mean, it's the most difficult part is staying focused, maintaining your positive mental outlook, developing as a person, developing, how do you see things better in reselling? How do you see better opportunities? You've got to put yourself in a mental frame that allows you to see things. If you are constantly seeing the negatives and returns, you don't see the opportunities that are around you to make you better, to increase, to help you reach your goals. We'll talk a lot about goals here in the future and simple things because a lot of the podcasts I listen to talk about goals and talk about. I challenge you. I mean, I might be the only one that likes Rob Dahl, the motivational mentor. He's a young guy. He's probably Jacob's age. He's a young guy, but smart. I mean, just gets it. Absolutely gets it. It puts it in a 15-minute format where you can digest things pretty easily.
Yeah, don't wait until tomorrow. It's not guaranteed. Yeah, after my brother passed away, I kind of changed a lot of my thinking about,
Yep.
things I wanted to do that, sometimes you put stuff off. It's like, if you can do it, do it. Don't wait. If you have the money and the time, go do it. My vision board that I did last year, I had, things up on it that I wanted, places I wanted to go, things I wanted to accomplish, and just waking up every morning and seeing that, on the wall.
Maybe you'll get another chance to go with me to Japan because I had to reschedule.
Did you really?
Yeah, that's where I would be right now if I didn't have to reschedule.
So what made you reschedule?
China's arbitrary COVID rules, because we were going to stop 2.5 days in Shanghai and then fly from there to Japan for the rest of the trip for the 10 days. And so the travel company was a bit leery and was like wishy-washy about a couple things, and so it caused several of the ones in our group to not be able or weren't able to comply with a couple of the requests that the travel company had. So we said, well, we're not, part of us aren't going and the other half not going, so we had to reschedule.
Did they cancel the whole thing?
I mean, part of the trip will still happen, but the ones that I was going with were not going. So
Gotcha.
they were, part of it was the travel company was closed over the holidays, and they sent out conflicting information by email several times. And then I guess for whatever reason, it must not have been meant to be. Maybe it's meant to be in the future. So I'll take it in stride. It's fine. I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'll go later. But I have learned I don't cancel trips for work. I learned that a few years ago. It's like, never again will I ever cancel a vacation for work, ever.
Yeah, I was actually about to say that, Harlan. That's the one thing I noticed, a very, very big change in you over the last year, is that vision board became very important, and you became laser focused on, these are the things I wanted to do. And I knew a lot of things on your vision board, and I've never seen it because you've talked about, this is what I'm going to do. It didn't become a lot of, I'd like to do it. It became I'm going to do it. It became, it's almost like you treat it as an obligation to live for Kevin by doing things that.
Speaking of vision board, what's up, Mr. Steve Rankin? He's got a good video.
I've still got to watch that video on Rankin's about a vision board. Yeah, Rankin, I've been doing those, buddy. I've done eBay to Amazon for quite a while. I actually sold something this weekend. It was a flip from there to there. Before your system, I saw the system that you use. I just manually did it. As I would find things that sold well, I just had a list of things that I search for a couple times a week. They come in my email every day, so I look at them and say, yes or no, whether I'm gonna buy them or not. So,
where are you at, Steve? Are you at home, or are you out in Vegas with Philippi? Who all's out there that you know, Scott? I know John's out there.
I saw a picture of what's her name? Her birthday. That was Philippi was in a picture with There's quite a few of them in the picture I recognize.
Mm-hmm. Steve's at home, back from Miami.
Yeah, the Amazon to eBay is a little harder.
Amazon to eBay.
It's possible though.
The big.
I see a lot of, especially in the DVD market. There's a lot of, for some reason, DVDs that for me sell better on eBay than they do on Amazon.
Think about the age population, Steve. Young people are not buying DVDs as a general rule.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty that do, but the bigger age bracket is going to be the ones that are on eBay.
Somebody's
that
buying.
Could be why, sure.
Somebody's buying a hell of a lot of them.
I just had 200 in. Somebody's buying them.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I've been selling quite a few myself.
See you, Steven.
All right, Steven.
He's all about the gym nowadays, ain't he? Steven Strait.
78 pounds
Good.
down. Yes,
Awesome,
sir.
man.
Gotta make that
Keep it
happen.
up.
Yeah, to take care of your health like he's doing, and to lose that kind of weight, it takes a lot of. That's a lot of mental change. You know, the wish anybody can start and stop them. The fighting that far down, and that takes some serious mental change, for mindset change. You know, I have no doubt I'll get to the 190. Probably in we're hitting March, probably in May, 1st of June. I have no doubt. The key is changing your life so that you stay there. You know, you've got to figure out what is the lifestyle, life change that keeps you there.
A new woman will do that.
Well, hey, if that's what works if that's what works, that's what works, right? When my wife came in to my life again, it changed me totally. You guys wouldn't even recognize me from before. I was a totally different guy. So good for him.
You don't do a lot of the resurfacing, do you, Scott? A lot of the stuff that he has been buying is still sealed.
I've been buying mainly new. I bought one used at that estate sale because you made me buy it. Here, this is a good one. Sure enough, it was a good one. I just didn't have time to look at all the when you've got. There must have been if there was one DVD there were 800 or 900. I mean, they were in 5 rooms of the house. Everywhere you went, you tripped over DVDs. Every bookcase had shelves of DVD. It was all I could do to scan through all the new ones. So
there was barely a room to get in each room, and there was 50, 60 people in that house or more.
Only one room had a bed in it. The rest of them had shelves set up in each room. Reckon I use Aura, AURA. I've used it. I've used Aura for about 3.5 years now. Really like Dylan. Dylan is one of the 2 co-founders. Use him for.
You got a discount still in your
Yeah, there's a discount code in the chat.
But yeah, there was so many DVDs sealed on that one, and you didn't even buy them unless they were $12 or more.
Yeah, I set a minimum of $12, and if the buy box at the time, so if it was in the 11s, I looked at it and seen if it was a low number, but if it was an automatic buy 12 or higher.
By the way, Barry, you are 100% correct.
Man, Barry is in the chat.
Oh, absolutely. I'll send them all in, Tom. I've forced myself to go back to FBA. So that's what tomorrow is. Got a list that I'm working on already. Van Massey is first because hell, the van's full. It's got to go. I'm gonna come back and I want to try something different with my diet. So if I walk 6,000 steps a day, I generally have a positive outlook on, and I'll maintain or lose weight on that day. And so I always work in the evening, and so I want to mix that up and put some in the morning. So I'm gonna do Van Massey. Then I'm gonna come back. Then I'm gonna walk this neighborhood. It takes 45 minutes to walk up and down every street and around, and that's about 7,500 steps when I finish that. And then I'm going to ship the orders I got. I don't have many to ship this time because I've sent everything I've been getting in. And then after, I'm trying to plan and be that's how I know where I'm doing, because I have it planned out. And then after that, I've got 3 videos to make for for influencer, and then I'm going to edit the video here and get this video posted about what I found at the estate sales Saturday. Estate sales are crazy Saturday.
Mhm.
I filled up an IKEA bag. You'll be amazed at the amount of money I spent on that.
Van Massey is an auction house up in Tennessee that we go to, and me and Scott both sell there every week. They do online auction from Thursday to Thursday, set up eBay style with a soft close. It doesn't just end like an eBay auction does. If somebody bids in the final 2 minutes, it goes back to 2 minutes. So we both sell up there every week.
So Tomcat printing product labels, I use a Dymo 450.
I think if you're looking for a good crisp clear label, you have to go with Dymo because of the DPI. Everything else has a way lower DPI.
And
I don't know. I'm sure there are other brands out there, but it looks like he's trying to print product labels. Or she, I'm sorry if I was wrong.
Yeah, so the Dymo prints at 300 DPI or 303 or 302. All the rest of them print at around 200. And the smaller the label, it's much more difficult for those other printers to make labels where the scanner will read them. So I print out before I leave to go to the post office, I'll print out on one 4x6 label just the scan sheet. And if I print it on the Chinese printer and hit it with a scanner, it does not read it. If I print it on the 4XL, it reads it every time. So that the smaller the label, it makes a huge difference. So I found a 450 at a thrift store for $5, and so I kept it even though it's worth a lot of money. And it strictly prints labels. My shipping table has 4 printers, on it. I have a Brother color laser that'll print out because I picked it up at the estate sale for $40. It prints out all my invoices. The Chinese label printer does address labels. FBA is handled by the 450, and then the 4XL does just I could get away with making the laser printer do the others. I just keep it over there on the desk. I've got so many labels that I paid $12 for. You can use generic labels in a Dymo. That's no issues. I've used generic labels since I've owned them. I've had the one Dymo since 2015, and it still just carries on.
The new ones you can't. The 400 series, 450, 4XL, you can. Scott says Munben makes a roll like clone that does 300 DPI, which if that works, do it.
I have not been to the Nashville flea market in about 15 months. I was a wuss Friday and didn't go. Harlan went Friday. It was spitting rain, misting, and 44 degrees when he got there.
It was not pretty. It was 55 when I left here. When I got to Nashville, it was 44, raining, about 20-mile-an-hour winds. Not good. But I sold at the Nashville Flea Market in September and October of last year. Yeah. And I'm looking at selling at the flea market this next month, the end of March.
I went and did retail arbitrage. So
Nashville from my house is about an hour and 50 minutes to get to the flea market.
From here is 90 miles from my house, so it's about 102 from his.
Just over 10 hours for me.
How far?
It's been a while.
How far is it?
10 hours.
10. Oh.
I think.
That doesn't take that long.
No, hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah, you leave at 6 a.m. You get there early afternoon. Yeah,
no problem.
So that's tomorrow is very regimented. Trying to, the other thing is my iPhone. I've put in what time I want to go to bed every day. So 45 minutes early, it says your bedtime is approaching. Make whatever, just to remind you this morning was the first time I had listened to my phone, listened to myself, what I wanted to do. And I went to bed last night at 10 like I should have. And when the dogs woke me up to eat at 6 this morning, I had an 8-hour sleep. I felt amazing today. It's imagined that if I'm not looking at TikTok till midnight or 12:30 and then try to get up at 6, it's a huge difference. And so, part of being mentally strong is understanding, what kind of sleep you need and taking care of. It is a total approach to, so I'm going to commit myself to, some of the core things I want to do is I want to be asleep by 10:30. I want to start mixing in some walks in the mornings, get up and do something, or even get up and take my cup of coffee and walk around the neighborhood carrying that stupid thing. I don't care. Doing some things different to get the day focused. I've never been a big exerciser, and I'm trying to get this in my, if I hit the 21 days, I will be getting a habit.
Sneaky Pete. Yeah, that's called Mountaintop.
Mountaintop.
And it's between Mountain Borough and Atala. Yeah, it's north of Gadsden. So I haven't been in a long time, but
so that's one of the ones. What's his name? I'm gonna meet him at. Brenda, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
I like flea markets and that kind of stuff too. And I didn't do any of them hardly last year. I listened to all the people, make videos about flea markets and how good it is. We have 4 or 5 around us, within an hour and a half. So I'm challenging myself. That's on Sundays, get up and go Sunday morning on a mountaintop and see, what it's about, what opportunity is there.
Last time I went, and it's been a while, there was a lot of people selling Chinese, reselling stuff. But there could be other stuff too.
Larry, you can't give up what you don't have. Yeah, I'll put a robe on when I walk around the neighborhood.
A visual.
You forgot the or something part.
How about if I just get a longer T-shirt to fit over my Speedo?
The visual.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that. Not Johnny doesn't even want to see that. But it's so that's I'll tell you on these Sundays, how that's working. Because the one thing you've got to take care of your health. As you work a lot of long hours and a lot of mental focus, you need your health to be there, because it'll wear the harder you work, your body will, and especially you get old like me, you need to continue to work on what's your stamina, take care of yourself, eat right, and do the positive things that I can tell you right now. Doing keto, with the reduction in swelling and inflammation that comes from eating all that sugar and stuff.
That's a DILF alert in the.
Yeah, he's got that coffee mug, even though he doesn't drink coffee.
You can't leave a DILF cup at the yard sale. Good grief.
It's my Harder to laugh at me. Every now and then he'll ask me, do those shoes still hurt my feet? Because I went through a lot of shoes in the last couple of years thinking, man, these things are killing my feet. I need to find the right pair of shoes. No, I need to lose the weight and eat right. And then imagine that your body doesn't hurt anymore if you're doing the right things. So it's
and there she is.
Yep. Somebody's also they said stamina. She's like swelling and stamina.
It's absolutely amazing when you're doing a lot of positive things that you need to do to take care of yourself. It's easier to get in a positive mindset and to really hear the things you're listening to and make changes in your life from a positive. Because if you're struggling in one part, you're going to struggle in another. What is? I think I told you, Harlan. One of the things I listened to this week where they were talking about if you're one way in this part of your life, you're that way in every part of your life. And he was making the point about being true to yourself. If you
magic.
If you're a person that says I'm going to do this,
yep,
and you tell yourself you're going to do something and you let yourself down, you're going to be the same person that tells your friends, hey, I'm going to do this and don't do it. Can't be counted on. It's it was Rob Dahl was one of his ones from a few weeks ago. I forget what it was, but he was talking about, you've got to be that person that can be dependable to yourself and dependable to others. You've got to, if you say you're going to do it, no matter who it is, you do it. I forget the name of that one. I'm gonna start writing this stuff down, and I'm gonna have a list whenever on Sundays, so that as I've listened to some of this stuff, I can tell you where it was.
I think that one might have been the Disney Magic guy, the Cockerel.
I've listened to several of his too.
He was talking about that principle. Of course, then again, one might hear it from one podcast and then talk about it on their own podcast too. So, but he was definitely talking about that in the last one I was listening to. That if you're one way to one thing or one part of your life, you're that way in every part of your life.
And if you think about it, he also talked about if you're late, I'm kind of the oddball who will do that. I'm a procrastinator in almost everything, except I can't stand to be late. It's weird. Procrastination and being late they go hand in hand, but I can't stand to be late. Even though I procrastinate on everything, it's weird. I take vitamins already, Dustin. Really.
I got my berberine in yesterday.
Yeah, I hope that works for you because I know it's been working for me. Everything I read on it, because I did a lot of reading on it, it has a positive effect on your. It seems I've been taking the wrong magnesium. There's a couple of them that your body doesn't absorb very well. Mm-hmm. So I'm changing out to the glycinate, the one that's got an 80% absorb rate. So maybe I'll see some difference with that.
Yeah, most people have to find which one works best for them, and a lot of it has to do with the other I guess I call them complementary minerals and vitamins that go with it to help you absorb it.
They come out with something the other day on vitamin D. They said if you were, I got so many pounds overweight,
mm-hmm.
your body would not absorb the vitamin D.
I saw that.
And vitamin D technically is not actually a vitamin. It's actually a hormone. So that's the reason why it changes. It's called vitamin D, and it has been and probably will never be changed, but it's technically not a vitamin. It's a hormone in it, and that's why if you're if you're unable to absorb it based on your weight.
Wow.
I don't know. I've been heavy and I've taken a lot of it. I had to absorb some of it. At 10,000 IUs a day, I'm sure I absorb something.
Smoke sneaking in.
Yeah, but I'll try to make a list of things, and so I can tell you where I list to them, because really, hopefully, if it's something that impresses me and touches me, I want to be able to put it in the description so that others can get the same benefit from it. Because something that I hear, you might hear a little bit different that allows it to be a positive influence on your life.
At the very least, you have a shiny coat. Most people, I think they said more than half of Americans are vitamin D deficient and don't even know it. That's the vitamin they are the lowest on. My doctor checked mine and I was way low.
So James, if you do some reading on that, I think they've done quite a bit of studies, and to get to the toxic level, you've got to take almost 40 to 50,000 units a day. International units I use. It's not.
Well, some people may not use as much. Some, like, I guess my body uses a lot of vitamin D. He said he's way over. He can't take any vitamin D supplements.
It is one of those things that's important to monitor for sure. I try to get my blood work taken at least once a year, if not twice.
I take as much vitamin D as my wife puts in that thing every day. I have no idea. She could be feeding me arsenic and I wouldn't know.
Joni has chronic kidney disease. She can't take any at all.
I know vitamin D is in there. I just don't know how much.
No D for me, Landshark. Thanks, Craig.
I wasn't going there. I thought about it. I wasn't going there.
That's why we all said the word vitamin in front of D, because we know people like Landshark Picker are in the chat.
We specify and clarify for.
He's been lurking on the side, and all of a sudden, he just jumped right in. Here's my chance.
But there's so much to taking care of yourself and understanding. You know, if you'll get into do some reading and research, and get multiple sources. Understand that there's a pharmaceutical. I researched a chemical Harlan's going to try it too, called berberine. I think it's made from a root of a tree. It has a lot of similar characteristics as metformin. They don't want the makers of metformin want you to pay the prescription and stay on there. The difference between if you can go natural versus you can go pharmaceutical is the natural thing. The natural things seem to affect other things as well. Where the pharmaceutical, will have some side effects, but it's, the berberine will affect this and affect the other things in a positive way. The natural substances versus, in the weight I gained, I did not see an increase in my A1C this time like I did the last time before I was taking berberine.
Yeah, that's the one that I got. It's supposed to help lower your blood sugar.
So, Landshark Picker.
I'm sure he's been under Connie Lingus a few times.
That happened.
I wasn't gonna say it, Steve.
I couldn't let it go. It was in my mind from the moment he made that comment. I know this is a motivational show, but
I met Foreman once. 3 of them were okay. Yeah. We are getting old. Yeah, I go to the doctor for my blood work and stuff twice a week. One of them is a full physical with full blood work and stuff. My doctor's
twice a year, right? Twice a year, not twice a week.
I say twice a week.
You said twice a
week, whether needed or not. Yeah, twice a year. Sorry.
Yeah, I do the same thing twice a year for blood work. Yeah. Yeah, Ron. I don't take everything, but that's why the berberine. If you look at berberine,
what is metformin? What is that?
Metformin is the drug that they generally give you to help when you're pre-diabetic to reduce A1C. Yeah, Tactical Z. It'll be every Sunday, 7 p.m. Central, not 7 a.m. 7 p.m. Central. This is.
I was making that.
It'll be at least the first hour or so. I mean, I don't mind after the an hour. I'll hang around and answer reselling and talk reselling. But I really want the first part of it to be focused on personal development and really get the right mindset and, taking care of yourself physically and none of us getting younger. Everything wears out. And
That's me, Carol. I did really good. My A1C was up to 6.5. I quit drinking Pepsi and sweet tea, got it down to 6.0. He was very happy. He goes, "That's really good. Keep up the good work." And then I went right back to where I was, and now it's at 6.6. So, yeah.
Yeah, so mine was at 6.1, and I went on the diet the first time. I dropped it to 5.6, and I started gaining weight, but I gained half the weight back that I lost the first time a couple years ago. But I was taking berberine this time, and only went up to a 5.7. I'm expecting this time through, with losing weight and carrying on, I'm expecting to be in the low fives. She said diabetes runs on both sides of my family, when the word pre-diabetic was mentioned, I'm like, I'm not having diabetes. Sorry.
Is it
same here?
Isn't like mid-fives normal?
So what?
My dad was diabetic. My sister's diabetic. So I get checked, and I'm fine so far.
Isn't mid-fives normal?
For what?
Yeah.
A1C?
Yeah.
I think so.
5.5 or 5.6, something like that.
Technically, 6.0 is pre-diabetic, I believe.
Yeah. A1C is 4.6. Very nice.
I have no idea what mine is. It's got to get checked again here soon, though.
What?
Yeah, we're trying to get Carol to put down the Pepsis and the cigarettes.
And the whiskey. Come on, Carol.
I think the thing you were thinking about earlier, that Joni's was high or low in, might have been creatinine. I think that's the one that's I think creatinine, something like that. I forget exactly how it's pronounced.
Brenda says everything is controlled by her diet. Everything's controlled by my diet too, but it's not a good diet. So
yeah, it's creatinine.
Creatine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, though, anybody who wants to quit smoking, it is possible. It sucks, but it is.
Sadie was 3 packs a day for 35 years. Wow.
I was 2 packs a day for 20.
Hey, Harlan, are you ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this or not.
Oh, no.
That's going to be her new picture.
Vaping isn't going to be your answer either.
She's going to shoot you. Oh, my God.
Who was that?
Can you show that again? I missed it.
How did you miss that?
I didn't. I just wanted to show it again.
I found those pictures. That's Joni.
And who?
That's her. That's how they did the.
There's gonna be another one too. I found all these pictures.
Don't do Johnny like that. See, where's Shannon? Shannon's been lurking the whole time. She just jumps right in. You start messing with Joni, and there they come.
One
thing you will not catch me doing is posting pictures of my wife like that.
There's blue eyeshadow, big hair, Joni.
Although all my wife's pictures are very good, but I'm not showing them.
See, I found a bunch of pictures. She's like, she put that one on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, I found that one, but I found a bunch of other ones too.
Yeah, you're not gonna make wings tonight on Tuesday, Tracy. He gone.
Yeah, those are 70s, man. I'm sure there are pictures of me floating around too.
Oh my God, there's some really bad ones of me from the 70s. My
Right.
mother got all my clothes at yard sales, and they were outdated then. So if that tells you anything.
I buy my clothes at yard sales now. What the heck?
Yeah, but you at least buy something that's blue jeans and a T-shirt, maybe, but not like 1970s clothes in the 80s or 60s clothes in the 70s. I had this one suit. I was in a church play, and it was brown plaid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That photo exists, but none of you are ever going to see it.
We gotta call Marsha.
Marcia ain't never seen it either.
Ah, shoot.
I'm sure that my mother has it somewhere still.
You give him
I hate the word pre-diabetic. It's like being pre-pregnant. Damn, I'm pre-pregnant. Brown chicken, brown cow.
Yeah, give me 1 minute. I'll find that one you're talking about. Where's Bucktooth Johnny?
Say it 3 times, you'll come to existence. Bucktooth Johnny, Bucktooth Johnny, Bucktooth Johnny. There she is.
That's the picture that I refer to it.
So we see Scott again.
So the iPhone will put a picture and it'll spot all around, and it'll come on like 20 or 30 times. So I made one of her pop.
Oh no!
Oh, somebody sent her a text.
Somebody alerted her.
I knew it. I'm gonna blame it on Shannon.
I was just remarking, Joni, how nice those pictures were.
Shannon did it.
It probably was Shannon. Somebody blocked Shannon.
And then Ainsley jumps in on top of that. Man, I tell you what, you pick on Joni and everybody that's on the side just jumps right in.
Hell.
You're going down.
I didn't show them you and your little bikini picture.
Oh boy.
You know you did it, Shannon. You sent her a Facebook message.
Don't worry, when Joni falls asleep, I know the password to her phone. I'll find out who did it.
Pretty soon we'll be watching 48 hours. It'll be about Scott.
Scott will be sleeping one eye open tonight.
Show the blue eyeshadow, big hair. Okay.
By request. Using the dog as a hostage.
I like that. Was a nice picture. They were all nice. They were lovely.
That's my favorite Harlan picture.
You damn.
When she put the cup under you. I don't know who the person is in the picture.
That's Danica. Did that lady luck jump?
I don't know.
I think it is. I think that's Danica.
That's a blue eye
face. Am I still the pimp costume? Golly. You put Joni's picture up there and Carol says, yuck my eyes. That's so distasteful.
That is mean,
That's
Carol.
horrible. Can you believe she did that? Come on, Carol. Have some respect. Come on.
I went and showed him to Jacob, so at least he's seen him before she destroyed him.
No, you're going down. Here it is.
I was trying to get a picture and it dialed her by accident.
That's right, Carol. Trying to look sexy for you.
Wait, what have you got, boy? You're being so damn bad. Give me that.
What in the world just happened?
he had some paper towels. He got all the trash and he was going outside to shred them in the damn backyard.
Oh my god.
That's a bad little wiener dog. I'm telling you, he's a bad little wiener dog. You look so cute and innocent, but you're so damn bad. You drag everything out in the yard and tear it up. You gotta wait until at least David comes and starts cutting all that stuff up for you. Wait till David comes.
She said send him back. She trained the dog to exact her revenge.
Does this face look like it could do anything bad?
Yes.
Frank,
Absolutely.
give me a little. I'm a little innocent puppy look. I know. Give me a little. Tell him how innocent you are, buddy. That's about as innocent as you can look right there.
Mine just lays on the couch, just 15 years old, sleeping. She did get her hair did this week, though.
They don't know how bad you are, buddy. They don't know that you tear up everything and drag it out in the yard. All right, go see your mom. Your mom wants you. Go see your mom. Yeah, so out today there was a pork skin bag that they drug out of somewhere. It was out in the backyard. Napkins. What else have I picked up? 2 or 3 other things out there.
Who's that?
Fluffy, you getting more hair cut off, you don't change your name.
Woo! I'm not Fluffy now. Say hey. Say hello. Tilt that down.
Hey, stop that.
Here we go.
Stop that, you little troll.
15-year-old Fluffy. Tell him, Fluffs. She's like, what the heck? I was sleeping. I was sleeping.
Mama wants you, boy. Your mama wants you.
Yep. Somebody's got to take her to the spa. It's me and the Fluffs. It's just me and the Fluffs. So somebody's got to do it. Okay, what's it? 180 gram miles an hour.
Man, I was flipping through before my bedtime came. I turned it off, flipping through TikTok, and there's an Elvis impersonator. That dude sounds just like freaking Elvis.
Well, he's a good impersonator then.
He was on a TV show or something doing it. Let me see if did I favorite it or not. I don't know.
Don't use rewards to
Doesn't look like I did it.
purchase items to sell. As a snowflake.
Yeah, that's it.
On a cold and gray Chicago morning, a poor little baby child is born.
Yeah, I thought that was Elvis if I'd have heard it.
Yeah, let's just listen.
And his mama cried.
He sounds just freaking like him.
Cause if there's one thing that you don't need is another hungry mouth to feed in the ghetto.
The ghetto. I had to finish the song.
Yeah, that dude sounds just like Elvis. It's some kind of singing competition or something. All right. What? Anybody else got anything else before we call this a night?
Nope. I just threw stuff in the garbage though.
All right. So I challenge you to find a podcast, find emotions, find someone who to listen to for just some positive mental stuff this week. Cartman did it better.
I agree. Cartman did a good version of that song.
Foreign version of Battle of the Bands. Is that what it is? whether it's making a list every day, planning your day out, real progress, get real things done. Warren Buffett. I mean,
I know you kept talking about it, Carol, and I had to go get one.
did you break down and go get one?
No, wouldn't do nothing like that.
Absolutely, read a book. Don't be one of the 38 or 40, 48%, 40, whatever those numbers were, people that, after the early 20s, never touch another one.
Is listening to YouTube videos the same?
If it's a book.
It could be, because Jacob sent me one that somebody's reading the book. It's on YouTube. So,
How about Andy Kaufman reading a book? Can I do that? Would that count? Great Gatsby, I think.
46 years old. Do I start getting blood tests? I've been having mine done for a long time before 46. So I would say, yeah.
I want to know what my vitamin, minerals, and that kind of stuff is, my blood work, just because I want to know.
I need to look at mine. I need to log in and look and see what all he checks for me.
I don't think mine checks vitamins. I need to see, maybe see if they'll do one of the two a year to do that.
Most insurances will cover it at least once a year as part of your annual physical.
So I go to a doctor. He's under the MD VIP program, and that means that I pay to go to this doctor. So, most doctors will have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 patients. You call to get an appointment. You can never get an appointment a lot of times because they're just, especially during the winter when people are sick. So the doctor I go to, he can only have 600 patients, but I pay like $1,600 a year. He's my doctor. So if I call him, if I need him on the phone or anything, he'll call me back in a few minutes. So it's expensive, but once a year they do, they do all kind of cancer checks. They check a huge list of stuff. They send it off to the Mayo Clinic and have all the stuff. Silver hair. Doc says, "OMG, you still alive?" So they check vitamin levels. They check a whole bunch of different stuff. So
yeah, I get it. They've got an app that I get all the. I just never have paid any attention to see if there's any thing about the vitamins in there. I look at all the ones where are there any red marks? That means I'm out of the normal.
am I supposed to get that checked, James? STD test? Add that to the list. Yeah. Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas. I listen to a lot of those guys.
I got a visit summary. My ethnicity, not Hispanic or Latino. That's
Don't trust doctors or lawyers. It's funny, since I swapped over to the doctor, he was my doctor before he swapped over to the MD VIP. thing. And the reason why he did it is he said that, check here. He said that with 4,000 patients, he had approximately 5 minutes or less to spend with you when you came in and you're sick. He goes, I can't spend no more. I have to get to the next patient. And he said, when somebody comes in and they're sick and you've got just a few minutes and, you know, you tell them whatever you tell them and prescribe whatever, and next thing you know, they're in the hospital. He said, that's a bad feeling. And he goes, with this program, he goes, we can sit down and talk 30 minutes if you need to.
So here's one social history observation: sex assigned at birth. What the fuck is that?
Let's see.
All right, so that's not giving me.
Oh, yeah, baby. Talk to you an hour for 500. Damn, what a deal.
They make this too complicated.
Yeah, I'll do it for 50.
What's up, Mr. Taylor? Are you in Las Vegas? Surely you're not. If you're on here, you'd be on the strip. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw you at on a conference on. I only went to a conference that one time. I hadn't been since. I don't even know it was coming up. Was it nice and warm down there? I'm sure it was. In Orlando. I know you're around the strip unless they have to. We didn't even go to the strip when we were there.
Nah.
In October, we stayed on Fremont Street. When is the one in Nashville? I'm in Nashville at least once or twice a month. September, October.
Who's having?
We'll be in Vegas in October, hopefully.
What's happening in Nashville?
They do the unconference up there in September, October. Then they do it in February in Orlando.
Here in Ohio, we have the Nun Conference. Nothing. We don't have one.
Oh, Sue is in the chat too. What's up, Sue?
Yeah, nothing. My records. Maybe that's where it's at.
Yeah, they'd kick you out of Nashville, Carol. They're like, no Northerners. Kick it. Nashville's too much party. I couldn't even get the guys to go downtown the other night in Nashville.
It's probably a good thing. He tried to get y'all killed last time y'all went downtown.
He would have got killed if it wouldn't have been for me.
Mm-hmm. See, there you go.
But when you're putting down shots as quick as I can pour them, it's like, dude, what are you doing?
He's in a race.
Mm-hmm. Wear a cowboy hat, Carol, and don't speak. You'll be fine.
Carol's got diarrhea of the mouth. She can't stop speaking.
Nashville is not impressive. Nashville is amazing.
I think it depends on who you are.
Downtown Nashville on a hot summer night is wild.
If you like that sort of thing.
This guy.
I enjoyed it. My wife hated it. Just because of the crowds.
Yeah, if you're an introvert and you don't like being around a lot of people, that would not be the place for you because it is packed wall to wall. Every
We enjoyed some of the other things in Nashville a lot more, like the American Pickers Place and the museums you can go to and stuff like that. But going downtown, yeah, it's all right. I enjoyed it, but
did y'all watch American Pickers a lot?
I used to.
So there's a guy on there. His name is Dave. He's on the show quite a bit. He works for Mike, and he goes and picks up motorcycles and stuff. And he's on the shows. Let me see if I can find a picture of him. We hung out with him this weekend. He's set up at the flea market. Let me see. So at the flea market this weekend, Scott, they had a big pair of jeans.
Is that the one that two people were wearing? I saw pictures.
Yeah. So he got some paint and wrote huge ass deals on the back of them, and two of my friends got into leg each. They were big. He hung them up on the wall. Says
that's clever. I like that.
This guy wanted to buy them, and he's like, "Nope, that's my sign." Let me see if I can find. Yeah, this guy, he's on the show quite a bit. He was on a couple times this week on American Pickers. Anyway, he sets up at the flea market up there, and we went out to eat with him and stuff on Friday night.
Yeah, I met him.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Yeah, Carol, we found your jeans.
Come back and get them. All right. Well, everyone have a good night. I'm going to shut this down. It's going to get close to my bedtime because I have to get up extra early in the morning.
Me too.
I don't.
Because leave here at what? 6:20?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I show up early, John's not there. I should just show up late again.
I know.
This is what, the small side?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
All right. Look forward to hearing some stories that you guys next week of positive motivation.
And Connie Lingus does not count as a motivational speaker. Just letting you know. Sweetwater out.
Roll Tide.
Peace.
And that's the